3, 2, 1.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is Commissioner Cooper, and it's time for TSS Fantasy.
Boom.
That's what it is.
Boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
That's what it is.
Boom.
Yeah.
Fantasy Jesus.
Boom.
I'm here to save your fantasy roster.
Boom.
Fantasy Jesus. It worked for The Rock and it's going to work for me.
Yeah.
Boom.
TSS Fantasy.
Boom.
Yeah. TSS Fantasy.
Boom.
And you just got flandered.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is Commissioner Cooper, and it's time for TSS Fantasy.
And you just got flandered.
That's what it is.
Boom.
Yeah. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is Commissioner Cooper, and it's time for TSS Fantasy.
Yeah!
All right, we got double yes tonight because we are in the great state of Indiana. Look, Nick is even at Lucas Oil Field already, just sitting there getting fired up, getting Indianapolis fired up. We're excited for tonight. We got some great guests lined up. Let's get the intro started. Welcome to the studio, Justin Jesus Herrera.
Oh, I got to tell you, Nick, it looks so authentic there. It looks like you're really in the booth right there. Like, man,
especially this area right here.
Picture of you, man. You're like Jay Glazer at the stadium. And we're ready for a great game today, guys. Anyways, it's great to be on. Fantasy show of the people. Let's go. Indianapolis, Indy 500, Colts. Boom. Let's go. Jonathan Taylor hype.
Yeah, we're gonna have we have rankings in the third segment. I think it's going to be a big, heavy Jonathan Taylor love fest in that. Let's also welcome to studio Nick. You got flandered macaronis.
Yes, hello, welcome, and thank you for having me tonight. I'm in the great state of Indiana. I'm parked right here at Lucas Field, and I am ready to go and talk some Colts tonight.
Indeed, we are ready to go tonight. Indeed. All right, if you're watching us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget, we are giving away a Justin Jefferson jersey signed from our friends at Pristine Auction in the wrapper still, so Justin is not messing it up when he's touching it. It's all yours. Hit subscribe. It's a contest. It's cool. Check it out. All right. Also, don't forget, go to tssfantasy.com. We have the round table on there as well. Exclusive content from Greg, OJ, the Juice is Loose Mayor. So you'll want to check that out. We're also doing the show on your fantasy league. Want to take your fantasy league to the next level? You'll want to check that out as well. Also, speaking of fantasy, it's getting close. Don't forget Underdog Fantasy. Get signed up today. Use the promo code TSS. Double that deposit for you under $100. And we're going to have lots of fun contests, including we're going to include the money. Also, we're going to have Dolphin tickets to come see a game with us. We're going to have Gatorland exclusive packages, all kind of cool stuff. Get signed up today. Promo code TSS. Nick, why do we do that?
Because we're the fantasy show of the people.
Indeed, the people. It's true. All right. We have a Dr. Miller's house call tonight. So let's get to that. Let me call myself out, though. This was the first house call of the week. We do these at 9 a.m., and I misspoke and said Colts still had T.Y. Hilton. So I'm just going to call myself out now. All right. Here we go. Let's get the house call.
Look, I'm a doctor, not an escalator. Spot, give me a hand.
The doctor is in once again. We are in the great state of Indiana, where we're talking about the Indianapolis Colts. Dr. Miller, welcome to the studio.
Commissioner, it is a pleasure to be here with you.
It is a pleasure to have you. And in this great state of Indiana, listen, the Colts are pretty decently stacked for a nice run this season and a pretty stacked up league, or excuse me, pretty stacked up AFC. Got rid, of course, of Carson Wentz. The big news, of course, Matt Ryan coming over. Now, as it goes, Matt Ryan has been very durable throughout his career, and it's saying something with the offensive line that he has to play for, had to play for previously with Atlanta. So I see big things ahead of him with an improved offensive line. However, getting up there in age. So, Dr. Miller, what say you, your percent to the bench for Matty Ice Ryan?
And you got all my talking points, my friend. So he's 38 years old. He's not a young not a young quarterback, but he's only missed 3 games in his career. And, as I was prepping for today's show, I knew he was durable and didn't miss a lot of time, but 3 games, that's bonkers. So there is no reason to expect that in an improved situation, he misses any time. So we're going 5% to the bench.
Wow. 5% to the bench. You got a healthy Jonathan Taylor ready to rumble in the backfield. A great offensive line, young, good receivers, and you got a veteran with T.Y. there. Big things could be coming for this Colt offense. We'll see big, at least maybe for your fantasy league perspective as well. All right, let's talk about young receivers on the team. Michael Pittman Jr.
Commissioner, your audio froze. I'm going to assume you were done introducing Michael Pittman Jr. So at 6'4", he looks like a slightly taller, younger version of Julio Jones. So, Matt Ryan's going to be looking down the field and think he's looking into the past. This is great. So there's no reason to bet against Pittman not going for 1,000 yards. You add Matt Ryan, a seasoned quarterback, and I'm very optimistic. Pittman's injury history was as a rookie, he had that toe injury that evolved into compartment syndrome, knocked him out briefly for surgery. But last season, he played in all 17 games. So Pittman also is going to have a low percent of the bench. We're going 10% to the bench for Michael Pittman Jr.
10. Listen, man, you're talking about a healthy Colts offense, young. This is big time news for this Indianapolis Colts team. Listen, at the end of the day, we can't predict injuries. That's not something, but we can take a look ahead and look at the data. Right now, it says big things for the Colts for staying healthy and having a good 2022 campaign. All right, Doc, we appreciate you being here, and we will see you on our next stop.
See you then.
All right, so that was a little shaky Pete, Dr. Miller's house call this week. All right, my bad. I'll do the push-ups for that one. It was the first one, like I said, my bad on that. All right, but big news, like he said, looking at Colts looking not mighty healthy this year. So we talked about it before. Jonathan Taylor could be big things for the Colts. Speaking of the Colts, we're celebrating all things Indiana. We got our guests to bring in, so let's bring them in. Let's bring in the hype music. I found this on YouTube. I don't know how much hype it is for Indiana, but here we go.
I'm from Indiana. 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 Where I put it on, stand up for records till I'm gone. All my country boys, let's get buck. Cops coming, throw them balls like Andrew Luck.
I won't play the whole thing because that one goes on too long. But welcome in. I hope that hyped you guys up for Indiana. I couldn't find anything for Indiana. My bad on that. All right, let's welcome into the studio. I'll just go in order from what I see. Lawrence Owen, my brother, welcome to the studio you have a couple of shows. Let us know where you're from.
Well, I have my show Colts Law, which I host, and then I have another one called Believe in Colts, part of the Believe Podcast Network, where my co-host is former Colts cornerback Gerard Powers.
Nice. All right. Bringing the star power and name dropping tonight on TSS. Gotta love it. Stephen Reed, welcome to the studio. I wrote down Stampede Blue. Is that accurate where you're from, sir?
Yep, that's right. I am from Stampede Blue. It's one of the longest running Colts blogs. Been going for probably close to 20 years now. through SB Nation. I've been there for almost a decade, right in there for the Colts. So I look forward to talking football with you guys.
Dropping the long tooth knowledge, indeed. Love it. Kevin Hickey, welcome to the studio. Got to look at my notes here. Sorry, from Colts Wire is what I got written down. Welcome to the studio, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Indeed. All right, we're excited. We also got Rondo from First and 56, a Colts podcast. Welcome into the studio, bro.
Yeah, definitely appreciate you having me on. Ready to get into it.
All right, let's get it. All right, so first thing we're going to start out tonight, we're just going to talk about the outlook for the Colts for the 2022 season. Last year, finishing 9-8, no playoffs. Finished 26 in passing yards, second in rushing yards. And on defense, total 16th is what I got written down. 19th versus the pass, 10th versus the rush. Free agency, we talked about it as I talked about it with the doctor. You don't have T.Y. Hilton anymore on your team. Got rid of some old vets like Xavier Rhodes. He was kind of off and on. Marlon Mack, surprisingly, is gone as well. But you did bring in Stephon Gilmore, beefing up the pass defense, so that's big. You also have Dennis Kelly you added and Rodney McLeod as well. In the draft, you had no first-round pick, but you receiver-wise, Alec Pierce, tight end Jelani Woods as well, and pretty much the rest was defense other than some other tight ends like Andrew Ogletree as well. So looking at this, we got some questions at left tackle for the Colts, but it's still a better line than Matt Ryan was playing with in Atlanta, quite frankly. So you have Matt Ryan with a young Michael Pittman and Jonathan Taylor back to that run the ball, run to set up the pass offense. Could be some decent things for the Colts this season. I kind of have them in between, I'm kind of in between them and the Titans who takes this over, quite frankly, but I have them in that 10 to 11 win mark. Lawrence, we'll start with you, sir. What's your prediction for this season? How do you think the Colts end up this year?
I think you're probably pretty close in that 10 to 11 mark. I would say that, depending upon health, injury situation, like what you just had with the doc earlier, I think the floor could probably be around 9 wins again if, you have significant injuries to certain players on the team. But also, if everything rolls right, I think you could easily see upwards of around 12 or 13 wins as well, being that the divisional games are so in the beginning of the schedule. So,
yeah, indeed. Steven, what say you, sir?
I think Lawrence is pretty on target there. I think your floor, like he said, is about 9 wins. I think the over-under in Vegas right now is 9.5, or it was last I checked. Vegas tends to know what they're talking about. So that's where I'd put their floor is 9 wins. I honestly, if health goes well and depending on what other team's health happens to be, I honestly think that 13, maybe even 14 wins is a possible high point with losses, maybe to Kansas City just because it's early in the season. But again, that's their first home game of the year. The Colts tend to play well at home. That crowd's going to be there. They're going to be ready. The other thing I'd also like to mention is Matt Ryan's actually getting an OTA process, something Carson Wentz didn't get. And then the year before, it's been Frank Reich's had a bunch of issues with quarterbacks in terms of getting a new one in every year. You're having Matt Ryan get to actually spend time and work on things with the offense. So I think this offense is going to click really well, and I think the defense is arguably a top 5 defense. So I think that they're going to possibly be surprising to a lot of teams.
Sounds big, boy. Big prediction there. Kevin, what do you say?
Yeah, I'm pretty bullish on them too. I think, when the schedule came out in May, I know it's May, but I think I had them around 10 wins. I tend to play it a little more conservatively just because it's so early. You don't know what teams are going to be different from the year before. We try to do our best to make predictions when we can. But I think one of the things that Lawrence said that really sticks out to me is their first 7 games are against AFC opponents. It's 7 games right out the bat. You're against AFC. 5 of them are against division opponents. So that's really going to set the tone for their season. And then you get a tough division against the AFC West. They're looking really good this year. So depending on how they do those first 7 games and then against that division, that's really going to set the tone. But I probably see them around 10 wins, 10, 11 wins.
Rondo, you got anything different than 10 to 11? Seems like that's kind of what we're all kind of seeing them at. What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's more of the same, really. Everyone's kind of hitting the same points. You know, the Vegas number being 9.5, mentioning the division of really the first six, 7 games, like Kevin said. And even then, you know, just looking at the division as a whole, for the last few years, it's been a 1-2 race between the Colts and Titans. Like, let's be real. The Texans and the Jaguars are both bottom feeders. Yeah, I know. I'm aware of the fact that, you know, the Jaguars tend to have an ownage against us when we play at their house. But with that, Matt Ryan's 4-0 against Jacksonville, so maybe he's the key to breaking that.
Nice. Bringing out the big stats. All right, Nick, do you got anything different for us? You got anything other than 10 or 11? What do you say?
I would say no to that. Short no. I do want to apologize for sending us our trash to your city. I think I apologize for Carson Wentz. He's terrible, and I don't want to hear no. He didn't have an OTA. That's garbage. Come on, you can't beat Jacksonville. So speaking of that, I think you're all going to have 9-10 games. You're going to battle against with Tennessee again this season. You should be 2-0 heading home to play Kansas City. I think you're going to wax Houston. I think it's going to be a close game against Jacksonville, but you could possibly be 2-2 heading into Denver, and then kind of running the table there.
Tough AFC West, as they mentioned. Justin, anything different?
I put a little bit more optimistic. I put mine as a solid 12 wins. I think there's definitely an opportunity. You guys have a gritty defense. Offensive line needs to pick it up in the pass protection, but I mean, it couldn't get much worse than the Falcons last year. So Matt Ryan knows bad pass protection. Yeah, I mean, I think that you get 4 wins right out the gate with Jaguars and the Texans. Probably split it with the Titans. I don't think they're going to take 2 from you this year. And then, you know, after that, it's not smooth sailing because you got to take on the AFC West. I got you guys taking the Chargers and the Raiders game and losing to the Chiefs and the Broncos. But I think that one game that's really going to be highlighted is that stretch where you go to Pennsylvania teams. You got to play Philly and Pittsburgh. That's going to be an interesting stretch to finish up your season. It's going to really decide placement-wise where you guys are going to be looking at playoff-wise. So, yeah, 12-5. That's my guess.
You know how to segue like a champ, my brother. You have done this before. Rondo, we're going to start with you. Give me the best game on the Colts schedule.
The best game? You know, I guess I should achieve it. I'll take Monday night with Pittsburgh. You know, you find that you're bringing primetime back to Indianapolis. You know, it's been a while since we've hosted a primetime game. You know, last season, finally getting there, you know, going to Baltimore, playing on Christmas, going to the Niners. But, you know, now we're back at Indy. You know, it's time to put the nation back on notice that the Colts are back, you know, and I'm sure we're going to get into it later, but we've got a lot of – this defense is primed to really show you that they're ready to be top 5, and also with Matt Ryan rejuvenated in a new offense, you know, we're ready to get big.
Oh, indeed. All right. Like that one. Kevin, we got another game you like.
Yeah, the one I kind of have my eye on is the Chargers game. Another primetime game. It's going to be against one of the best offenses in the NFL. I mean, I'm a big Justin Herbert guy. Got him on my dynasty team, so – it's going to be a really good matchup. It's going to be a really good test for them too, especially for that defense, because I think that's week 16, week 17, week 16, I think it is. So, you know, that's going to be right at the end of the season. They're going to be trying to make a playoff push. Chargers are obviously going to be right in the playoff mix. So having that test at the end of the season in prime time, right after Christmas, that's a game I'm looking forward to.
Indeed, the day after Christmas. I love that game too, actually. That was the one I was looking at. Like, man, that's a good one right there on Monday night. I love it. All right, Steven, you got anything else on the schedule you like?
I mean, I'm going to take the layup, the thing that Carson Wentz can't hit, and take the Kansas City Chiefs there in week 3. I mean, you're playing the Chiefs, one of the top teams. Patrick Mahomes coming to Indianapolis. It's going to be interesting to see how the Chiefs' defense has changed and how their offense changes without Tyreek Hill. They're not going to be nearly as dynamic as they have been in the past. Now, again, Patrick Mahomes is an otherworldly quarterback, so he can make up for a lot of that. But it's going to be interesting just to see how Andy Reid changes that offense and how well their defense steps up. So that's the game that, again, I'm gonna make the layup. I'm gonna take week 3 at home, first home game of the season against the Kansas City Chiefs.
He shoots, he scores. Any game with the Kansas City Chiefs, a big game on anyone's schedule, indeed. All right, Lawrence, what you think, brother? You got anything? It looks like I think your game got stolen a few times. So you got anything else on the schedule you like?
Rondo's watched some of my stuff. All right, man, stole my pick, man. The Steelers, great. All of you guys named off great games. I'm going to throw out the Raiders game, just for the simple fact that the Colts and the Raiders have played very, very tough over the recent years, and plus we have Gus Bradley as the defensive coordinator now, and Yannick Ngakoue as coming over from the Raiders with Gus. I think that's going to make a great matchup. Might be able to play a little bit better than what we did week 17 last year. Speaking of that, let's not do the final 2 weeks of the 2022 season like we did the final 2 weeks of the 2021 season. All right. If we lose to the Giants and Houston the way we lost to Jacksonville and the Raiders, I think there's going to be an uproar in Indy.
Yeah, I mean, can't say I blame you, especially with those 2 cupcakes.
I feel like you can't start off like you did last year.
Indeed. I mean, the schedule set
0-3, yeah.
Like you don't start off 1-4, one like that you take away that. Like, just guys, get it together from the beginning, and then
absolutely
we're okay.
And it's set up for you for early success as well. So that's big. Nick or Justin, do you guys got any other games on the schedule? Because I think they all been kind of nitpick. Wait, you got one, Nick?
Go, Nick.
I'm going to go with the last game you play Tennessee, October 23rd, because that's the second time that you play them, final time for the season. That could set the tone for the rest of the year. So let's say if you lose the first game, you got to get the second game. And of course, if you win the first game, now you got a chance to sweep and then put a foothold on the division. So that's going to be an important game. I know it's a division game. It's supposed to be big, but I mean, I think that's going to be one of the bigger games of the year.
If Steven hit a layup, sir, you just nailed a 3. Good job. Good game on that. Justin, what do you think, sir? You got something else?
I'm surprised. I mean, I guess I'm not really surprised because all the hate for Wentz was all there to begin with. But week 8, Washington coming to town, you get the chance to give him the big double bird, and you guys are missing out on the chance to talk about that.
Fair point.
He's a non-entity anymore. He's been
going
in the league in 3 years.
I wish him the best. I wish him the best. I hope he gets his 70% of snaps in, and then after that, he can fall off a cliff. That's all.
Amen.
That really matters.
I mean, there's so many storylines.
Yeah, give me that pick. That's all I want.
There's so many storylines with the Indianapolis Colts schedule this year that we haven't even covered, right? Like the Patriots game, we got that going on where we just, we've been dominated by the Patriots ever since the Manning era. Last year, we finally got that monkey off our backs, and then we get a rematch again this upcoming season. There's so many storylines that you could go through.
Yeah, does that feel different without Brady, though? Does that feel different without Brady, though?
Yes.
A little
bit.
Yeah.
Belichick's still there, though.
But yeah, that's a big right.
Good point. Belichick is still there.
A win is a win is a win. Justin, going back to the basketball references, you just hit a gorilla slam with that one, bro. That was a good one. All right, we're gonna
break the glass.
We're gonna hit a quick break. We get back. We got Fantasy Feud coming up. Boy, it's gonna be Colts trivia. I'm gonna team us up here in a sec. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Hayden, we love fantasy football. We do? It's a fantastic game, yet still not perfect. Like, I hate leaving high-scoring players on my bench.
The worst, man.
In fact, hate it even more when I put injured players and they're in my starting lineup.
Can't have that.
And I need a life. The waivers, the trades, every single week, it grinds on me. So we at Underdog Fantasy want to make fantasy football easier for everyone out there. It's called Best Ball, and we set your optimal lineup for you each and every week. You can do it all year long. We have drafts going all the way from February to week 1 of the NFL season. What are you waiting for? Use our awesome early sign-up offer to get a little extra something on that first deposit and that first time you play on Underdog Fantasy.
You put them up, reach the sky, touch the stars up above, cause it's one time for the underdog, one time for the underdog.
All right, we're getting it on for some fantasy feud. It's gonna be a good old time. I think one of our, I was like, Steven was like, "Yo, I'm out. I ain't doing no trivia."
I know, I just dropped the camera. I'm like, I don't know if you guys can see me. I don't know what I'm about to do.
We can see you now for sure. All right, so we're gonna team up. Way I see it down here, I got Kevin and Lawrence. You guys are gonna be team 1, and Rondo and Steven, you guys are team 2. Basically, this is fantasy feud, just like family feud. I don't have any fancy buzzer, so I'm just going to name out the I'll ask the question, and each one of you will have a chance to answer. Once I hear the first answer and it's correct, that team will get a chance to clear the board. There'll be 5 answers, and you got 3 strikes, obviously, just like family feud. All right, everyone, get it for the most part, anyway.
Yeah, you got this, Lawrence.
All right.
Okay, Kevin. All right.
Hey, guess what? It's time to play the feud. Brad?
Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson. It's going to be a long game.
This is going to be tough, Kevin, because Steven's been following the Colts just as long as I have. All right? But he's been covering them longer.
Do any of you have the internet? You should be okay.
Lawrence is like, as soon as this intro's over, I got to say something. All right, guys, here we go. Top 5 answers on the board. I set you up easy on the first one. Give me the top 5 all-time passing touchdown leaders for the Colts.
Oh, Peyton Manning.
All right, Peyton Manning was I heard first from Lawrence.
Well, that was a slam dunk, Coop.
All right, so Lawrence, you guys got control of the round. You got Peyton Manning's number 1, 399. What else you got?
You want to take the next one, Kevin?
Yeah, sure. It should be pretty easy. Andrew Luck.
Andrew Luck.
I'm going to go with Johnny.
He was number 3 on this list, 171.
I'm going to go with Johnny U.
Johnny U. Like I said, setting it up early for Johnny U, number 2, 287. You got 1, 2, and 3. Now is where the fandom comes in. You got 4 and 5. Let's see.
I want to say Harbaugh.
Jim. Dang, that was quick. Justin, thanks for that. Yeah,
Captain Comeback.
He was number 5 on this list with 49. Who is number 4?
This is where the true fandom comes out right now.
I'm
go Steven's like, bring it on back.
George?
Say that again, sorry.
Is it Jeff George?
Jeff George.
I knew it was close.
You got it, Justin? Sorry, I think I clicked it for you. Did. All right.
I got it.
All right, so wrong on that one. All right, you got 1 strike. You got 2 strikes remaining. Looking for number 4 on this list.
You said how many was it?
You
Is that
have
allowed? Can I get a clue?
How many touchdowns he has?
He played for the Colts.
Yeah.
Burt Jones.
That's
Burt Jones.
Burt Jones.
Who the hell is Burt Jones?
Hey, Burt. I mean,
He's a quarterback back in the late 70s, early 80s.
Was that the Baltimore?
Baltimore Colts. Prior to them coming to Indianapolis. Burt Jones.
Boy.
122 on this list. All right. Well, you guys got Lawrence and Kevin. You guys got the first round. All right, now we got a feel for it now, so now everybody knows what's up. Here we go. Number 2. This one's not so hard either. Top 5 rushing yard leaders all time for the Colts.
Oh, good one.
Edgerrin James. All right, all I heard was
He was
Lawrence.
doing
I heard
this.
Lawrence going ding, ding, ding,
Yeah,
ding,
he's
ding,
trying to
ding.
hit the.
Yeah.
That's what I say. You got to shout it out. That's what I was saying. We don't have a fancy buzzer. All right, Lawrence, you're up, my friend. You guys got it again. What else you got on this list?
You want to take one, Kevin?
Yeah. Say Marshall Falk.
Marshall Falk. He's number 3 on this list, 5,320. Edgerrin James is number 1 all time, 9,226. All about the youth.
Absolutely. Let's try Eric Dickerson.
Eric Dickerson. Put on your goggles. Number 4, 5,194. All right.
Man, the Rams are always on the come up with you guys, huh?
Number 2 and number 5 are still on this list.
Both were Rams.
Yeah, that's true. Except Lindell Mitchell wasn't.
Oh,
Last name. I was blanking on his last name.
nasty. He's number 2 on this list, 5,487. You are missing number 5.
And number 5 should be easy if you go back to the Baltimore days, Kevin. He's in the Hall of Fame.
Kevin.
Lenny
Hey, man,
Moore.
you take it if you got it. You take it. If
Lenny
you got
Moore.
It.
Lenny Moore.
I'm good for like one answer, and then.
Wow.
That's
I
it.
mean, this segment usually goes a little longer than I'm like looking in. Like, what can I do here? All right, it's 2-0. You got Steven and Rondo. You guys got to get this. You guys got to get in it, bro. Let's go. All right.
I just have to get the rules right. I've been first saying
Just
ding
shout it,
every
yeah,
time.
there's no buzzer.
Ding, ding, ding,
There's no
ding.
buzzer.
There's no
Just
button.
shout
You
it
just shout it
Steven.
out.
Take
That's
over.
all you got to shout it out. That's it.
Take it
Marvin
over,
Harrison.
The ding you're hearing.
He's just yelling out pre-answers out now right now.
The ding you're hearing is Lawrence's correct answer, sir. That's what you're hearing. The ding. All right, here we go. Top 5 answers on the board. Here we go. Top opponent winning percentage against the Colts. Top 5 teams.
Against
So you're saying
Colts.
top 5 teams that have beaten the Colts?
Buffalo
Correct.
Bills.
Correct. Buffalo Bills on this list.
Oh.
Ooh, I really truly
I'd
expected
say
that.
Pittsburgh Steelers.
The Pittsburgh Steelers. And my stupid thumb hit the wrong thing. Yes.
My fat fingers.
It is the fat finger alert. Listen, the Steelers number 1 on this
Wow.
list. The
Wow.
Colts are 6-20 all time against the Colts. 231 percentage average.
Wow.
All
What a
right.
hit there.
Steven and Rondo.
Got beat
let's
like
see
you
what
the
else
money.
we got.
This just regular season, or are you including playoffs?
This was regular season. It said all time, I'll be honest with you, so it didn't really tell me either way, just to be frank with you. But I would
It's
assume it's
all
regular
time.
season.
No pun intended, to be frank.
I hear somebody typing.
Yeah, I hear someone typing too.
Yeah.
No, that's me. That's me. I'm trying to be the good backup guy in production over here. That's me.
All good. Steven and Rondo.
You got this, Rondo. You got this.
I feel like the Patriots got to be on there.
The New England Patriots.
With a name like Rondo, he's got to be money.
Nick, the one-liners are my job, bro. All right, stop. All right, Patriots 29-48. They're number 5 on this list. You guys are 29-48, 377 average. You know who's right below them? The America's team, Miami Dolphins, 28-46. Just want to throw that out there. All right, you got number 1 and number 5 on this list. You got 2, 3, and 4 remaining.
I'm going to say the Chargers because the Colts always seem to lose to the Chargers when Peyton Manning, like I'm going back to like just looking at Peyton Manning and those they always seem to lose the Chargers. So I'm going to toss them out.
San Diego Superchargers.
And the other ones, they can't be AFC teams. It's got to be NFC because you got to think of teams that you don't play very often.
The Chargers, by the way, you guys are 10-17. They are number 3 on this list. So you have number 2 and number 4 remaining.
I feel like the Raiders are randomly on there.
The Raiders.
Was that on there? Sorry, I was not looking at the screen.
It was not on there. No, sir.
It was not on there.
Surprised to hear the loud ass buzzer.
I think
you guys are good against the
When
Raiders.
the volume, the thing comes on. It says to tap first down. I'm like, no, I'm not going to tap that.
Yeah, your pizza rolls weren't done.
Let's see. I'm going to go with the. Let's say Dallas.
The Dallas Cowboys.
Just look at that. Nice. They've been around forever.
They are number 4 on this list. You guys are 6-10 all time against the Cowboys. You're missing number 2, and ironically, you have 2 strikes remaining.
I know who it is.
Can we call a friend or
Not
get a hint?
This is not that show, sir.
This is not. What if I give you a kiss on the cheek? Because that always works.
Hey,
it's not that kind of show, Steven. I don't know what you've been watching.
Hey, we don't take bribes.
This is not called TNA. It's called TSS.
Steve Harvey is a very friendly fellow.
That's true.
I don't know if Commissioner Cooper over here is also a friendly fellow.
I'm very friendly. I mean, if we were live in a studio, I'd possibly take a kiss on the cheek. I'm not opposed to it. All right, all your stalling's about to get you strike 2. Any guess for the
Rondo? Make a guess.
And pure irony is it the Rams?
The Rams. All right, one more guess at it. It is number 2 all time.
Let's see. It's got to be an NFC team.
I'm 95% sure I know.
Lawrence ready to steal it.
That's good enough for me.
Let's take let's see. I'm gonna say the Panthers.
He knew it the whole time, didn't he? Listen, I know Stephen Harvey's friendly, but you, sir, deserve an Emmy for that acting job. 2-5 all time. 286 is your average against the Colts. All right, let's go. Here we go. We going into the question number. I'm glad that we extended this at least a little bit. So now we're going to go back to some Colt stat knowledge. Top 5 receiving TD.
Marvin Harrison.
All time. Marvin Harrison.
I knew that was going to be the answer anyhow.
I technically answered it like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
He's
He
number
already
1.
gave it to him, so you might as well let him have it, right?
Number 1 on the list, 128. Who else you got?
Oh, dude, really?
Come on, just take it.
Rondo, you got it?
Reggie Wayne.
Reggie Wayne. It's all about the you here. Come on.
I'm going to go T.Y.
T.Y. Hip T.Y. T.Y. All right, T.Y. He was number 4 on this list. Reggie Wayne was 2, so you're missing 3 and 5.
Say Hall of Famer Raymond Berry.
Raymond Berry, Hall of Famer. Correct.
Nice.
One left, number 5 on this list. And Steven, if you know it now, just say it, bro.
I want to say Lenny Moore.
Lenny Moore.
Rondo, come on, man.
Well, that's probably what Dallas Clark.
Dallas Clark.
Good.
Not a lot of
That was gonna be. I was gonna say that.
This has got to be a Baltimore. This has got to be a Baltimore one.
It's number 5. You got one strike left.
I've already named Lenny Moore and Raymond Berry. Jimmy Orr would be the other one that I would think of.
Jimmy Orr. See, he did know it. He just wants the dramatic. That's all.
Wow.
No, I really do think about these things.
Good job there. Sorry, I had a little technical difficulty. All right, we're all tied up. All right, so that's good stuff. I love it. We go into the final round. Let's see who's going to win this tonight. We're going to go opposite of the question earlier. Who had the top your percentage? Now, who do you guys have the top winning percentage against?
Atlanta Falcons.
Atlanta Falcons. Number 1 on this list. You're 15-2 all time. 882 average. All right. What else you got?
Texans, they suck.
The Texans. Number 2 on the list. 30. You guys are 31-9 against the Texans. Wow.
That's wild. That it's a 78%.
Wow, that's crazy.
Division.
All right, that's a division. Oh, that's crazy. All right, 3, 4, and 5. What else you got?
I mean, the Titans got to be on there also.
The Titans
suck too.
Andrew Luck was 11-0 against them. So
Titans are on this list. Yeah, they are.
Damn, this 11-0 against them.
They are
lost.
They are number 5 on this list. You guys are 35-19 against the Titans. All right, you got 3 and 4 remaining.
It might just be another division opponent that
I
you
kind of want to say Jacksonville.
The Jaguars. Nobody circles the wagon like the Jacksonville Jaguars. All right, what else you guys got?
They had some good years there, and with MJD in there. What about the Washington? What are they called now?
The commies.
In the nation's capital of all places.
They are number 4 on this list, 21-10. You got.
I am shocked Dan Snyder didn't play him that well.
You got
shocked.
You got number 3
Washington
remaining with 2 strikes.
We've got 1 strike or 2 strikes on us.
You got 2 strikes remaining, and you got all you have. You got number 4 is number 3 is the one remaining you got left. Go ahead.
Make your guess, Rondo. I think I know it, so I'm going to let you take it.
Maybe that one's the Raiders then.
The Raiders. All right, for the win, Steven. You got it?
There's got to be the Vikings.
The Minnesota Vikings. You guys are the winners tonight. Vikings number 3. You guys are 17-7-1 against the Vikings. Great job for Steven and Rondo tonight. What a comeback that was. And listen, no offense to our friends Kevin and Lawrence, but we have a tradition on our show. When you lose, you do get a certain award. Here it is to you.
Dumbass. Thank these. They call me dumbass. Black cotton entertainment. Stupid.
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Fun game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, great comeback from our guest here. Look, we got a quick promo tonight for our new sponsor, 3B's Honey Farm. which my son thankfully voiced over. Good job, Nick, on that. We're going to hit that promo. When we come back, we're going to talk fantasy rankings.
3B's Honey Farm, a veteran-owned and family-operated company located in beautiful St. Cloud, Florida. Our honey is raw, unfiltered, and chemical-free. That means you get all the healthy benefits of honey, plus pristine quality every time. We also have a variety of products, like handmade soaps, body scrubs, lip balms, lotions, and handcrafted wooden products for the home. Buzz on over to our website, 3bshoneyfarm.com, to place your order today. Any order over $55 ships free in the United States. Follow us on social media and watch out for our subscriber specials. 3B's Honey Farm, where honey is where the heart is.
Honey, honey.
Thank you, Disney and everyone else that I just ripped off for that. All right, let's.
I didn't know I was your son, but thank you, Cooper.
You are very welcome.
Dad.
All right, listen, this is TSS Fantasy. We got rankings to talk about. Let's talk fantasy. Are you guys ready or what?
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. 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 I'm ready.
All right, that's a big topic tonight. All we've been talking about, Matty Ice Ryan. Last year finished 25th in the league, but who cares? It was with the Atlanta Falcons, who had main weapon Calvin Ridley wasn't playing. Again, we talked about the porous line. So really last year, not a big indication. He played every game. Look, in the same spot last year, Carson Wentz, Nick's favorite QB, went 17th for fantasy rankings. Not a bad season all overall for as far as fantasy is concerned. This year, where I have Matty Ice ranked, I got him 16th this year. I think him and Carson Wentz actually are right in the same ballpark, quite frankly, the way these offenses are set up. I like to see Matty Ice in this offense with Michael Pittman, setting up the run game. That's where I got him, getting on that almost second-tier type level. Big things, like I said, expected for him. If you're in a no running back strategy type draft, might not be a bad dark horse sleeper QB to grab. What do you think, Justin?
He's QB 18 for me on TSS right now. Love it. He's a great second quarterback to have on your roster. I just want to throw a couple stats out real quick before we pass it around. His deep ball accuracy was third in the league last year. Pressured accuracy was 53.8% completion rating. He was fourth. So, I mean, he still has it. He didn't lose anything. All he lost was Julio Jones and most of his weapons and got a rookie and got Cordero Patterson. But he targeted the running back 22% of the time, which I'm looking at Jonathan Taylor, big year coming maybe for this guy. I mean, I know you guys still got Naheem Hines there, and he's looking good in camp, but Jonathan Taylor just needs something, and he just needs the ball, and he can break it away and score a touchdown. So I think there's still some big value for both those guys.
Yeah, I think regardless, Jonathan Taylor is just going to improve at Matty Ice. I'm not sure about that stat, though. I saw that stat, too, but I'm like, I thought about it. This is what else did he have to throw to? You mentioned it, Cordell Patterson, which I don't know, was he listed running back or what was he ever listed as? So, and again, we talked about the porous line so at Atlanta, so I'm sure it was a lot of that bail out.
The only reason I brought that up is because you look at the reflections. Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce are really the best receivers on the other side. So it's still kind of a limited edition type of thing. It's still a limited offense.
Oh, yeah, totally agreed. And,
obviously,
I thought you were talking about the band limited edition. I was like, that's pretty fire. to age myself for you.
A little bit. Yeah.
Nick, where do you have Matty Ice this year, sir?
I got him at 15. I can't, as much as I don't like him, I can't put him above Karen Rodgers. And then Matt Stafford, Tom Brady, Lamar. I just can't because of his age. But again, last year, like Justin said, he was limited due to the fact that he had a brand new coach in Arthur Smith. I think Frank Reich is a better coach than he is, better prepared to get his quarterback ready. I think he's got a better offensive line this year. I also think he's got better receivers. So And of course, he's got Jonathan Taylor. I mean, how do you beat that? So, and plus that, in this division, he's only got one team to really compete against. So, I think Matt Ryan's going to have a big year. He could be comeback player of the year. Just throw it out there. So that's my humble opinion.
Yeah, very humble indeed. All right, Lawrence, what do you think? Do you think we got him in the right spot?
Probably. I mean, I'm not a huge fantasy player myself, to be honest with you, but ranking quarterbacks down the list, obviously you're not going to put him with some of the big dogs out there that are out there. But I like somewhere between 12 and 15 myself, as Matt Ryan, listing him at quarterback and what he'll produce. There is a situation in the receiving core, again. How quickly is Alec Pierce going to adapt to the NFL, right? I mean, you've seen some receivers can adapt in that first year, bam, Chase, you saw that, but that's a rare situation. Usually you don't see wide receivers make the big jump till second or third year. One guy to pay attention, if he can stay healthy, I think Matt Ryan will have himself a very nice season, but when we have yet to see Paris Campbell stay healthy. But if he is, he's a very dynamic player on the field, and I think that Matt Ryan will use him a lot.
Yeah, no, totally agreed. Just to save on time, let's just go. We'll go to each guest for each position. Let's go to running back. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor, number one last year, 2021. I mean, listen, it's hard to repeat as number one fantasy running back. So I just have him at number two, only because it's hard to repeat. And if Derrick Henry stays healthy, I like him as number one back of the year. So that's where I'm at. Justin, what do you think?
I got my number one, and the reason I have my number one to go back to back is because there's still room to grow in his development. He still has a chance to take on more of a target share. Last year, he had 10%. Like I said, looked like there was about 22.5% that Ryan gave to his running backs last year. One thing he needs to shore up, though, if he's going to be good, is his drops. He had 5 last year. But overall, when he got the ball in his hands, he was dynamic. He had 9 yards per reception. So, I mean, sky's the limit for this guy if he just gets his hand shored up.
Indeed. Nick, where you got him?
I'm going to go with PPR. I have him at number 3, just because I have Eckler and they have and Harris at number 2, 1 and 2, because they throw the ball to their backs more. And again, Justin just alluded to it. He had 5 drops, but again, his main thing is running. So if you're doing PPR, I have him at number 3.
I forgot to mention also, I got Nyheim Hines at 56 currently this year. And don't forget, they also added Philip Lindsay just as an insurance policy as well. So, Steven, where do you think Jonathan Taylor, where do you think? Well, obviously, he's top 3 at least for
number one.
What do you think? All right. Okay.
Number 1. So here's the thing. You guys mentioned that last year he talked about his receiving aspects of it. I think that's actually going to pick up this year, because if you looked at the way Carson Wentz ran the offense, he didn't like to check down. He didn't like to hit shallow crossers. It just wasn't part of his game, and it frustrated all of us so much because Jonathan Taylor was wide open on a lot of those. Matt Ryan, he's a smart dude. He's just going to go straight to him, say, all right, let's get the ball to my playmaker and let him run. I think Jonathan Taylor is going to, even if Derrick Henry comes back healthy, if you look at the history of running backs who have had as many carries as Derrick Henry has had, they typically fall off the cliff about the time he got injured. And so I don't expect him to have a rebound, or if he does, it's going to be that, top 10 range. It's not going to be number 1, I don't think. Jonathan Taylor, he's, like you guys mentioned, he still has room to grow. I think he's going to get a lot more of the passing share in terms of checkdowns and things like that. And good point with Nyheim Hines. Right now, I think he's like the 48th running back drafted in a lot of leagues. So he's a guy that they've already said, Frank Reich and the offensive coordinator, Marcus Brady, have already said they want to use him more. He's going to get used a lot more, especially in a PPR league. You want to grab Nyheim Hines late because he's going to be a PPR monster.
All right, see, this is why we're doing these shows. I'm already going to bump his butt up in my rankings. I love it. All right, let's go to the receiver position. Michael Pittman, obviously the number 1 overall. Last year, number 16th overall. This year, I have him 12th. Like I said, I like Matt Ryan in an offense. I like him going a lot to Michael Pittman. Guess what? Last year, though, the number 2 receiver I found in the fantasy rankings was Zach Pascal. He was 82nd. That was what I could find. Like, wow. So we got to find someone. You mentioned Lawrence mentioned earlier, Paris Campbell could be a dynamic. Maybe it's the rookie. We'll see. But again, Michael Pittman, you can't go wrong going at number 1 receiver for him. Justin, where do you got him?
14. I liked his win rate versus man. He had a 44.7% win rate against man. Matt Ryan's completion percentage against man was also top 5. So, and this division has a lot of teams that play man. So I'm looking at that. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe this is a big thing. He's a big receiver. On the other side, he's going to have Alec Pierce, who's been doing some great stuff in camp when he's not been injured. I think that they're twins. To be honest with you, you look at them physically, they're twins. The way they run their routes, they're kind of twins too. I think Alex a little bit crisper at this stage in his career, but I look at them as having 2 Michael Pittmans, and that's just going to be dangerous. That's going to be so dangerous for this team because one's going to be the possession, one's going to be the deep route, and you're going to have to be playing the guessing game the entire time.
I like it. Nick, where you got him at?
Right now I have him at number 12. Again, I'm doing PPR. He's got a little under. Last year he had a little under 1,100 yards. He had 129 targets. You mentioned Zach Pascal. Zach Pascal only had 384 yards receiving last year on 69 targets. So you see that huge gap. So it was either Pittman or basically nobody, whoever was open. So again, I have him at 12. Let's see if Matt Ryan can pick it up.
Indeed. Kevin, what do you think? We got him right, Pittman right on point?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty close. I'm about halfway through statting out the league for my own projections that I try to do every year. But I just finished the Colts projections today, and I have Pittman probably going to finish around wide receiver 15-ish. The thing I think we're going to see with Pittman is a little bit more consistency. With Matt Ryan, I think that's what you're going to get, as opposed to Carson Wentz, who is just the word that a lot of us have thrown around this offseason and last season with Carson Wentz was volatility, right? His peaks were very, very high, but when he wasn't on his game, it was off. So I think you're going to get a lot more stability with Matt Ryan, and I think with Michael Pittman Jr., you're going to see a lot more after the catch. When he was with Phillip Rivers, I think he was averaging something like 7.1 yards after catch per reception. That dropped to like 3.7 with Carson Wentz. So I think you're going to see a lot more after the catch with Pittman Jr. I've got him over 1,200 yards. But my thing is I don't really see anybody really taking away from his target share. I think he was up 25.7% target share last year. Right now I have Paris Campbell right at 90-ish targets. Alec Pierce right behind him at like 75, 80. Alec Pierce I like as a sleeper, but you know how rookies go. They're more of second half plays in redraft leagues. And then Hines is another guy. They're going to keep him involved. I think we're going to see more closer to his stat line being, probably 2018, 2020, where he's around the 65 receptions range. So I like Campbell and Pierce as sleepers. Campbell, obviously, with the injuries, that's going to be big for him. And then Pierce is a second half play.
Yeah, indeed. A lot of big stats there, Kevin. Definitely agree with that a lot. Let's go to tight end real quick before we close it out. He's called a lot of things on a lot of shows. On ours, we just called him the Big Show. Mo Alley Cox last year finished 24th last year. I got him about the same this year, but Matt Ryan does like to go to the tight end. So there is possibility if the Big Show can stay healthy, he could have a pretty big season. Justin, what do you think?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll make a different analogy to him. I think he's Andre the Giant, and the guy that's next to him, Jelani Woods, is the Big Show because they are carbon copies of each other. I think Woods is maybe just a tiny bit of a better blocker. He's more of an ambitious blocker. If you looked at him at the combine, you were like, oh, man, that guy is 6'7". He got that low and was pushing. He was doing everything right. The technique, chopping your feet, his hips were smooth. Yeah, I think he was brought in to kind of help shore up that offensive line in the beginning of the year. He's an awkward catcher of the ball. You see him at Virginia, you're like, oh, Jesus Christ. He's just 6'7", man. I wouldn't know what to do with all that either. But as far as Mo Alley Cox, I would say maybe he's a best ball guy. He might spurn out a couple big weeks, but I don't think he's going to be very consistent. And I think Pittman is going to take a lot of the target share. And then you still got to feed Jonathan Taylor. So for me, I think I've got him at, tight end 27.
Nick, where you got him at?
Not even worth mentioning.
Rondo, school my boy, man. What do you think? Where do you think about Mo Alley Cox this year?
I mean, he's in the 20. He's in the 20 range. I mean, kind of the course of his career, he's really been like a tight end only streamer. I mean, I think it's gonna be kind of the same thing we mentioned earlier. You know, Pittman adding Pierce. You know, obviously the running backs Taylor and NY. So, like, I wouldn't probably start him consistently every week, but I mean, like, a late round pick, we need a tight end. It wouldn't hurt to grab him. And like, I guess flex start him.
Indeed. Love it. All right, guys, man, we appreciate you guys being in tonight. It's been one fun show. Absolutely love it. Lawrence, we're going to go around the room here. Guys, let all of our listeners know where they can find you and subscribe and all that good stuff, sir. Well, Lawrence, we'll start with you.
Well, first off, thanks for having me on. I had a great time. Also, great meeting Steven and Kevin for the first time face-to-face. Appreciate you guys. Had some interactions with you on Twitter. It was great to do it in person. I'm Lawrence Owen. You can find my my stuff, my channel on YouTube, Lawrence Owen. You can look up anywhere Colts Law or Believe in Colts. And on Twitter, I am at Colts_law. Thank you again.
You're welcome, man. It was our pleasure indeed. Great guest night. Steven, where can we find you and all your great stuff?
Hey, you can find me over at Stampy Blue. I'm starting up my podcast again, leading into the season, a very stable podcast. And then, you can find me on the Twitter at Nice Read Steve. It's nice read REED and then Steve, all one thing smushed together. That's pretty much about it. So thanks again for having me. It's been a pleasure.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Being a stable podcast is a thing all on its own, bro. So I appreciate that. Indeed.
I also own a horse farm, so that's kind of the
that's the theme, right?
Yeah.
And the horses.
Cold stable.
Laying it out. I love it.
And it's on the Twitter, he says. It's on the Twitter.
On the Twitter.
It's on the
Twitter.
Kevin, where can we find all of your great stuff, sir?
Just want to echo these guys. Appreciate you having me on. Had a blast. Nice to chop it up with these guys for the first time, and with you guys as well. You can follow me at Kevin Hickey 11, the Colts Wire at the Colts Wire on Twitter, and then coltswire.usatoday.com.
Awesome.
Thank you guys again. I appreciate it.
Oh, man, it's so welcome. It was a great pleasure having you on. Some of your fantasy analysis really trumps everyone on the show, so we're definitely might be having you back on. All right, Rondo, what up? Let us know where you can find all your.
We don't say that word on this show.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, thanks for having me on. Obviously, you can catch me at Rondo_Uno. I am one half of the First and 56 podcast. Yeah, First and 56 on Twitter. Also, subscribe to the Blue Stable on YouTube. That's who we're affiliated with, so you can catch our videos on their channel.
Awesome,
Nice.
man. Great guest tonight. We had a great show. Tomorrow, we're going to the great big old state of Texas, where we're going to talk some Houston Texans football. I can't wait to do trivia tomorrow night. Might be kind of limited indeed. All right, guys, for all of us and you, thank you guys again so much. We appreciate you, and we are out.